If you see a red, could you let me know if you see that red recording? Beautiful. So it has started.
Good evening, CAP's parents. Thank you for logging on for Parent University's computer skills and Google and Microsoft training. Welcome to our families from CAP Asbury and CAP Paterson. My name is Ms. Guthrie. I am the Community Relations Specialist, and I'm one of your presenters this evening.
And hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Maramble. You can call me Mr. M, and I am a 5th grade science teacher at College Achieve Paterson campus.
This evening, we will be discussing Computers 101. However, specifically, we will be talking about the introduction into the tech world, the Microsoft software system, Google, and we'll have time for a few questions and answers.
To start us off, everyone, this may be obvious and apparent in our world today, especially in a place where a lot of us are in our homes. We live in a world that is run by technology, whether it's a computer, a phone, a desktop, a smart TV, there is technology everywhere. And it is very important to understand computer skills to use these technologies towards our needs. So this is where computers and understanding them comes into play. I get started with some knowing of the computer basics. All computers have general settings that help tailor your technology and the experience towards your needs. Many computers, I have images here of both the Mac operating system here on the left and the Windows operating system here on the right, where you can literally type these settings in the search bar to configure them to your liking. Now, some of these settings do include sound and visual appearance if you want to change those. Wi-Fi internet connection is an also important setting that you can change on your computer. Security settings, your operating system and your drivers, the updates that come whether to your MacBook or your Windows computer. The battery on your computer is another function that can be changed. Programs and applications are probably one of the bigger ones. We'll be discussing Microsoft and Google today. And last but not least, startup and background applications that occur while your computer is running. Now, I know this is a lot of maybe technical vocabulary, but to start our journey into learning about how computers work, these are great places to look up under your settings and play around with to see if this is something you want to change on your own device. Ms. Guthrie, is there anything you want to add on top of this?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. In Learning Computers 101, the items listed under computer settings are key to knowing how to use your computer, making sure you're connected to Wi-Fi, what the Wi-Fi symbol looks like so that you can know if you have a strong connection or not. Understanding that your battery can be removed on certain technical devices, but also knowing how to turn on the low battery or not low battery, reserve battery, my apologies, system so that your battery does not die as fast if you are out on the road. All of these things are extremely crucial when knowing how to use not only a laptop or an at-home computer, but when knowing how to use a tablet, your cell phone, and other technological devices.
Yes, thank you for including that here. I think that's an important and significant portion to include on why understanding these different settings is important. It doesn't only apply to, I'm using a computer right now, but to all our daily devices. Very good, very good. I'll go ahead and move forward. And next on our presentation, we do have Microsoft Office.
So Microsoft Office is one of, if not the most common software device that you will find on technology anywhere. We have it on our phones, our tablets, we use it in our schools and in our offices. It's most commonly known for Microsoft Word, which a lot of our scholars and a lot of us adults use to write papers. But what you should know is that Microsoft Office is a server software that does require an account um, in order to access the services that it provides. You can purchase that software online or at any store where you can buy a technology device, and it's commonly used, as I said, in offices and places of employment. The services that come with the software are Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, which is used to do presentations somewhat like the one you are seeing today, Microsoft Excel, which is commonly used for charts and graphs and things of that nature, Microsoft Publisher, which is commonly used in graphic design and the makings of flyers and posters, Microsoft Outlook, which is an email service very similar to Yahoo Mail or Gmail. And it also includes mobile application devices so that you can access these very items from your cellular devices and tablets. Mr. M?
Yes, and I also wanted to include, I brought up the websites just to show you, the audience, in this presentation. Many of these icons do look very familiar to us, and I know Microsoft definitely pushes. I'm on Chrome right now. They do push that Microsoft Edge platform for using your internet. So just looking at this right now, I see a lot of parallels between Microsoft applications and Google applications as well. So if you are noticing the similarities with me, with the Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, they are all similar to what we will share with you next with Google, but these are the services and their icons of what Microsoft Office does provide. Back to our presentation here. Next.
And in discussing Microsoft Edge, one of the biggest competitors and most commonly used search engine for the modern 21st century is Google. And at one point in our lives, we will use Google. Google is a search engine. It's a free service that began to gain a lot of traction in around 2018 because of the similar services to Microsoft that they offer that can be converted into commonly used documents like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other software services that were mentioned. The difference with Google is that these services are absolutely free. The only thing that Google requires that you do in order to use those services is create a Gmail account where the documents can be connected to. The software services that Google provides are Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Meet, which is a Zoom style setting, which we are actually presenting on today, Google Classroom, and it also includes mobile applications that you can use and download on your phones and tablets. But again, I can't emphasize enough, one of the greatest things about Google is the fact that it is absolutely free.
Yes, you said it. And when you look at the competition between these two platforms, you can make the decision yourself whether which one is most comfortable with you. But it's outstanding to point out that, yes, with all these Google applications, I'm going to share another tab real quickly of all these Google applications we mentioned, from Drive, Slides, which is very similar to PowerPoint of Microsoft, Google Docs, which is similar to Word, it's parallel. Spreadsheets, which is similar, the parallel to Windows or Microsoft Excel, and all the other Google products that are there. And I know, I'm not sure if this presentation will be sent, but all this stuff will be, I suppose, included in the presentation. But Google does include all of these other applications that may be fit for your needs as well.
And before we wrap up, so regardless if you decide to use Google or Microsoft, it is just important that you know that you do have options and that both software services are extremely helpful with whatever it is that you need to do, as we've learned, spending this last year in a virtual world, there are numerous opportunities to learn more, and there are a limitless amount of products that provide the services needed to adapt into the work world, the school world, and just the general world today. With that being said, Mr. Marambo, do you have anything to close?
Um, as I was thinking, I don't want to give off the tone that it's either or Microsoft or Google. As a teacher, I personally use both, and you can convert files in between those two platforms quite easily. I go from using Microsoft PowerPoints and converting it into Google Slideshow as this one fairly seamlessly. So it's not as if I'm in one camp or another. I think utilizing both to your personal taste will help effectively apply this in your life, where it will enhance your work in whatever field you are in.
I think it's also to add, to refer to something that you spoke about earlier. Mac does have their own versions of some of the services that we spoke about in this presentation, but it's also important to include the fact that the services, if you have a MacBook or an AirBook, whatever kind of product you have, most of the services are compatible to where you can convert them into a PDF, into a Microsoft Word document or a Google document. It may change the formatting slightly based on the service that you use, but the most important part is that the service is available and you have options, which is extremely important nowadays.
Yes, absolutely.
But if there aren't any more questions, I thank you, Mr. Marambo. I thank you, parents, for taking the time out to participate in this evening's session. And if you have any questions, Mr. Marambo and I will both drop our emails in the chat, and you can feel free to reach out to us, even if it's for a more in-depth how-to with your computer. We are more than capable of helping you and willing.
Yes, absolutely. I echo that. Thank you so much for attending this night's Parent University, and we will close at this time.